What's up, Terriers? Welcome to our third Terrier Talk podcast, Winter Wonderland edition. Harry and I will be trying to tune into our holiday spirit this podcast. We will be talking about some of our favorite parts of the holiday season and maybe some plans over winter break. We will be interviewing Mr. Wilder, one of the administrators here at RHS, and one of your fellow students to play a game with us. So let's get to it. So, Harry, what are you into lately?
This time it's beginning of December. I'm trying to get into the holiday spirit, and so I'm today I was going out for a run down Highland, and I was looking at all the different like Christmas lights on the houses. And then if you've seen Highland Street before, it's just beautiful, huge houses on huge, like pretty big properties too, and then big mature trees, just like total like one of the nicest streets in Redlands. And I was going down it, and just holy moly, man! Like these houses all because they all have like the warm Christmas lights on them, like the kind of like the yellowy ones, yellow gold.
Yeah.
And man, it is beautiful. Like it's beautiful. We should definitely normalize warm Christmas lights 24/7. Like the multicolored ones, like the bright red ones, they give me headaches.
So, like, make it year-round.
Exactly. Because it's like I feel like everyone would be so much happier. There's like these beautiful lights.
Everyone has those lights. Oh my goodness, the electrical bill though would be
Yeah,
awful.
exactly. That's the thing. The fossil fuels burnt. It's like, is it worth the pretty lights?
See, we need to figure out a way to make them solar powered.
Exactly. Just
That's what
connect
we
them.
need to do.
Get everyone
Yeah.
little solar panels on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice. My other thing, this one's not really as serious as the Christmas lights, but I really love those little like snowmen that you put into hot chocolate. Or no, you put into like I don't really like drinking milk whole, but hot chocolate's awesome. But you put the snowman into like a warm glass of milk, and it like melts, and it has like whipped cream and marshmallows and stuff inside.
Oh
I,
wow.
I don't know. It's just kind of fun. You get to see it all dissolve and stuff. And I don't know, just a nice way to enjoy a nice beverage.
I don't know. I kind of feel sad for the snowman the way you're describing it because you're just watching it melt and die, and I'm just
It
like,
it is a bit of
no,
a you have to like remind yourself. All right, it's just like chocolate. It's not
just
a
food.
real snowman. That'd be
Mm-hmm.
sad.
Is it like those hot chocolate bombs where it's like it's a ball of chocolate and you drop it in a
Yeah.
marshmallow
Like, have you
bomb?
seen the memes where it's like the gorilla one too, and the gorilla sitting is like, I have to tell you something, and then it like keeps progressively melting until it.
Which
Yeah,
meme
I
is
don't know.
this?
It's like the gorilla. He's like sitting in a pan of like hot milk. It's like a chocolate gorilla, obviously not a real gorilla, but it's like the secret to like being better at guitar is, and then it like melts, just that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness, I feel so uncultured because I don't know this meme.
I could just totally be like in like a little like niche thing where it's like no, like and people are just like, what's he on about? Like I've never seen this gorilla meme. But
Speaking of holiday snacks, do you have a favorite holiday snack?
oh man, that's tricky because I like peppermint bark a lot. But my
I've
thing with the
never
pepper,
tried that.
yeah, it's really good, but it's really rich, and so sometimes if you eat too much of it, you start to feel sick after a while. And it's like for me, too much of it's like two little pieces of bark. And after that, you're just like, holy moly, man! I can't wait for I don't know Easter for not eating peppermint bark.
I know this doesn't count as a snack,
Mhm.
but I just love peppermint during the holidays.
Yeah.
You know the peppermint cake pop at Starbucks when they sell it?
Ooh, those
Ooh.
are good.
Those are so good.
And little peppermints are like the circle ones, and they're kind of chalky.
Yeah,
Those ones are bomb.
those are
Like
good.
candy canes, I don't really like them because your face gets all like red and stuff. You kind of look like a little kid. But the
Hmm.
little like circle like peppermints, I could put down 20 of those if I really tried.
Yeah, when I went to my grandma's house for the holidays before COVID and everything,
Hmm.
um, every year she would decorate her tree with candy canes. And it's not like the stereotypical peppermint candy cane. It's just
Yeah,
like really fruity ones. Like,
yeah. Where they have like the green and black ones or the orange and blue ones.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it'd even be like Starbursts flavored or Sour Patch or something like that. It's just,
Dang.
yeah, very fancy. Like,
Yeah. Right.
I only have a small handful of cousins on my mom's side.
Hmm.
So what my grandma does is she just lets us take as many as we want home because it's not like
Dang.
she's gonna have them, you know? So we just leave her house with a whole bag, a whole Ziploc of candy canes, and it's good for a couple weeks. All right, so I believe we should shift to our school news. I
Mhm.
believe you have the first announcement.
All right. First up, we have the final exam schedule starting. This is important. Our finals are coming up, big for our grades. And so the week of December 14th, the Monday is just a normal day. You go to all your classes. But starting from Tuesday to Thursday, it's a block schedule. So Tuesday periods 1 and 2, Wednesday 3 and 4, Thursday 5 and 6. Then that Friday we have off. So whoop whoop, early
Thank
Friday.
goodness. I don't think I'd be
Yeah,
able
right.
to. That's what I need after finals, a day off.
Oh,
And
genuinely.
then we get the whole 3 weeks off too.
Yeah, holy moly.
We also have one more update. It's updates on work permits. So, if you're recently been offered a job or you're just currently looking, remember you will need to request a work permit before you can start working if you're under 18. So, the last day to request the work permit is on Wednesday, December 16th, because it will not be accepted during December 21st to January 8th. So, make sure to get that work permit request form done and completed and shown to your counselor as soon as possible. Alrighty, Terriers, we have a very special guest speaker today, Mr. Wilder, who is one of the amazing teachers here at RHS. Mr. Wilder, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, I think you did. I like the amazing part, and so you're already aiming for the extra credit um, in class already. Oh yeah, no, I'm Mr. Wilder. I teach AP U.S. History here at Redlands High School. I used to count the years, how long I've been here, but I've lost track. It's been a while. But yeah, that's who I am.
Well, that was an amazing introduction. We have a couple of questions for you. It's just a small interview, and I have the first question. Have you
Sure.
always been interested in history?
Well, yeah, my dad was big into history. He was like It's ironic. I am like, as you guys know, because you take my class, I'm like the least interested in military history of all the histories. It's like the one I kind of like try to skip over and go, let's go through the battle. But my dad was really into military history, and so he'd watch all these documentaries, and then he would tell me about stuff. But actually, my first love was English. That's what I loved in high school. I took both histories. I took world history and I took U.S. history in summer school. Not because I didn't like it. I just wanted to. All my friends were taking the history, so that's what I took.
No, I feel you on when like your dad was big into it because my dad, my grandpa, and all of my dad's friends, man, they'd sit down for hours because they were huge into World War II because my dad was from England, so they were huge into it. They just talk about it for hours. And when I was a little kid, I just listened to them. It's cool, like seeing it start to click. Like, oh, I remember them talking about that.
Yeah, sure. My dad was living history in the home. You know what I mean? My dad, he served in Vietnam. My dad was very active in a lot of these civil rights things going on in the 70s, particularly up in Berkeley, where he met my mom, who was very active up north with a lot of the movements that were happening in the 70s. And so I was exposed to some of those things because my parents had lived through that history. So I guess that's where it comes from a little bit, is from that background.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. It's kind of cool to see the things you learn about. 'Cause, I mean, I don't know if any of us in your class knew that your parents were so involved with a lot of those movements, and it's kind of cool seeing things you've learned about people like who have actually kind of, or not know, but like indirectly kind of know. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of
Yeah,
experience that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, super interesting. I think I could never have guessed without this interview, that background.
All right, but I got the second question for you, and I think you've gone over this before in class. But what's your favorite unit to teach out of A push? Like, what's your favorite unit?
So I'm gonna cheat and say whichever one I'm kind of on. It's weird. So you'll see this. I like right now. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to talk about the 1920s, or I can't wait to talk about, for example, the civil rights movement in the 1950s. And then I'll be in that era. Like we'll be there in like March and April. And I'm like, oh man, I miss talking about the founding fathers. So it's one of those things that I really enjoy all of them. There's probably only a couple I don't enjoy teaching. Mostly not because I don't find the history interesting. It's just student struggle. And so, like, and I hope I'm not jinxing you guys, but the Gilded Age, which we cover in early February. students struggle on that, and so that it's tough for me because I see kids like I don't get what you're saying. So I'll speak, and it'll be really interesting this year with distance learning because normally I'll be in front and I'll be talking about the Gilded Age and I get blank looks from kids, but now it'll be just blank screens.
Yeah, everyone has blank looks all the time, don't they?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, it's just a normal Tuesday. But no, I mean, all the other ones I love. That's the one that struggles. But I guess if you're asking me, like, it changes every year. But I got to admit, right now, I've been really liking our discussions on the Civil War. I feel like you guys seem more engaged, and it could be just more like, okay, we're getting used to each other via this format. But you guys seem more engaged this particular unit, talking about all the steps up to the Civil War than earlier in the year. So right now, this is the one I'm loving the most.
That's good. Yeah.
I definitely think it's like a mixture of both, because we're almost halfway done with the school year and everyone's just trying to adjust. And I think we're finally hitting that point.
Yeah, like I think I shared with you guys, I had like a mini panic attack over Thanksgiving break because I thought I saw one of my students at Victoria Gardens. I was shopping for my wife's birthday and I'm walking around and I thought I saw this student and I was like, oh my God, we've never seen each other in person. And it was just very unique, because I've seen students before in the past, and you say hi and you might have a small conversation, but this time I was like, oh, what do I say? Do they recognize me? Do I recognize them? It was, and it ended up not being my student, but it was a mini like, oh my God, this is so weird, So,
I had something like that where I was going to the campus, and this was recently too, and I was dropping off a form. Oh no, I was picking up. They had these like weighted blankets, and my family bought one. Yeah. And I went, and I think I saw Mr. DeVoe, my physics teacher, the young Mr. DeVoe, and I think I saw him, and I kind of waved. I was like, "Oh, hi, Mr. DeVoe." But I had my mask on, my sunglasses, hat on, and he waved back, but I don't know if it was him. I don't think he knows it was me. So it's one of those things.
Speaking of distance learning, my next question applies to that. What do you think is your favorite part of in-person learning and favorite part of distance learning?
Okay, so like the in-person learning and I think former students would speak to this and you guys would probably see that if you were in my class. I love the conversations I have with my students. It's so much easier to just ask how a student's doing or Harry, we've had discussions about like soccer, and so that, and just my growing love of soccer with my daughters playing it. And so just those, and then it'd be like 2-3 minute conversations that you could have with the student before class or in the middle of a lesson. Just the jokes, the humor that you build these relationships throughout the year. And so to not have that, and I'm not saying it's impossible with distance learning, but it's a lot easier to walk by and just go, hey, how's it doing? Or what's up, Bianca, how's it going? And you just have that conversation and just a quick laugh, or I ask how your family's doing, you ask how my family's doing. Just those relationships that are so much easier when you're in person. And so that's a struggle. I think I'm getting better. Hopefully we're getting better with that. But once again, it's like, okay, do I write it in the chat? Well, that's weird. I'm writing it in the chat to you beforehand versus just walking by. And so just having those conversations, students I feel like are speaking up more. And so it's getting a little better with distance learning. I think you asked what the favorite part of distance learning is that second part. So I'm surprisingly liking using the new technology. I feel like when this is all over, I feel like I'm gonna be a better teacher. I feel like I'm always gonna use the videos as review. It may not be always there, but the videos I make in class, which I hate, right? I hated it first, but now I'm looking at all these different ways I can talk more about the information and discuss the chapter and have some fun and also create something that students can go back to over and over again. I think I'll always make videos, and so that new technology. Also, I never used videos like clips from YouTube. That wasn't my thing on classwork. I think I'll always use that because I've sort of been forced to that. And so I think that's been the best part, is just getting out of my comfort zone. And I know there's times where I fail miserably, and that's okay. I accept that. There's times where I'm like, yeah, this is not going well. But also knowing that I'm learning from that is probably the best part of it. It's funny. There used to be a running joke between my students for years. They were like, hey, man, will you make review videos for the national exam? And I said, I'll never do it. I kept saying I'll never do it. I won't do it. And then, the pandemic hits, and I turn to my wife and I go, I should have said I'll never do it unless there's a pandemic. And so that's sort of where I've been. But I actually I've gotten to the point now where we're in chapter 21. I actually gotten to the point now that I actually enjoy them. And so, that's cool. it's good to hear that they help you guys out.
What kind of student were you in high school?
I was horrible, man. I was not very in tune with the academic environment. It's weird. I love certain subjects, and if I love the subject, I was all in. So I had AP Lang and AP Lit, and I was all in those I was all into those classes. I had government econ that I loved. I was all in there. But I went to a high school that struggled a little bit with the expectations, and then quite frankly, my parents, and I'm not blaming them because I was old enough to make my own decisions. But my dad was kind of like, hey man, get a 2.0 so you can play basketball. That was what he told me, and so I that was my goal. And so I would say I was that student where in open house the teacher would say, hey, he's really intelligent, but he doesn't do a lot of work. Can you get him to do some work? And that was who I was, and my dad would give me a very stern look and not be happy. And so I wasn't a great high school student at all. Thankfully, I kind of figured it out in college, but yeah, high school was tough for me. The technology, right? Like we didn't have Aries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't check Aries and see what our grades were. You know, we turned the stuff in, and then some teachers would pass the work back to you, not all of them. And they had a little grade book that they kept by hand, and they would calculate your grade at the end. And then, I mean, you would get your report card. I kid you not, there were times where I didn't know what I had in a class. Like I found out when they mailed it. I was like, oh, B+, okay. That's not bad. It's better than what I thought. And so my parents, obviously, I didn't have a recourse to check my grade, and neither did my parents. And so there wasn't that, I didn't have that parental pressure. My parents were great. My mom passed away a few years ago. My dad's still around, but my parents were great as parents, as far as I knew they loved me, and that was what they cared most about. And so unfortunately grades weren't necessarily emphasized, but I also feel like everything's kind of a learning experience. So they didn't pressure me so much, right? But me and my wife are very in tune with our daughter's academic progress. Like I always tell students, you know, it's you always have time to figure it out, right? You know what I mean? Not that I'm saying you should mess up like I did in high school. I'm not saying please don't take that advice, right? You should do awesome. But life has a lot of turns, right? And so for me, whatever reason, I don't know why, when I got to college, it clicked and it made sense. And then I'll be honest, a lot of personal pressure I put on myself to get the highest grade possible.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it gets a lot more real in college.
And I'll be honest, when I wrote my first paper in my freshman English class, and when I got an A, it was like a euphoric feeling, like I want to keep getting these grades. And then I put that pressure on myself. And I got to admit, like in high school, I felt like everything was speeded up, right? You know, it was like 6 classes and all these assignments and all these things you're doing. And for whatever reason, college kind of slowed down for me. It like every day was slower. I could do the reading. I could write the papers. I could understand the material. And so it just clicked for me there.
Dang, that's good.
That kind of puts some relief on students who are listening to this. College isn't that bad.
Yeah, I think, you know, it just depends what type of person you are. Like I was more of the student where like I couldn't do things like I struggled doing things daily, like daily homework, right? Mm-hmm. But if I show up to a college class and they were like, okay, you have a midterm and a final, I sort of worked with my personality a little bit, so I was able to do it.
What has been the funniest moment you've experienced in the classroom?
Whoa, man, so many. I'm trying to put me on the spot. Like my class, we always have fun. So there was a time where I got nominated for Teacher of the Year by the district, right? You know, and so as part of the deal, they come in and they videotape you teaching a lesson, right? And so you know, and it's supposed to be like this, it's almost like the Academy Awards, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, they show the clip of the movie and it's supposed to be the best part of it. And so they decided they're going to come, I think maybe a month before national exams. And so my mind's only thinking on the national exam. That's all I'm thinking about. And so it slipped my mind what day the guy was actually coming and when he was showing up to videotape me. And so here's the thing, I'm not even like dressed, you know, you want to impress, right? I'm not even dressed the way I would want to dress, you know, for this video. And so I didn't tell my students. I remember when they told me they were going to come video, I was like, okay, I got to tell my students to make sure, you know, they're on their best behavior. And so the guy comes in, he goes, hey, I'm here to record your lesson. Just be natural. And I was like, trust me, we will be, because I have no idea that you were coming. And it was the funniest part was the guy was watching me teach, and all my students were making funny faces at me and trying to distract me and trying to was up there, and it was hilarious, and it actually ended up making a great lesson because I had to keep a straight face and teach, and they were listening and they were asking questions, but like a kid would ask a question and I would answer like, so what was the turning point of World War II, and I would answer the question, and then as soon as he was done asking the question, he'd make like a funny face and try to distract me. And so it was about 45 minutes of that. I did not win the award, not because of that lesson, because there was a teacher. It was one of those things where we went to me and my wife, they invite you to an awards ceremony, right? Yes, at Rev, right? So you show up and it was awesome, man. I go there, I dressed up and stuff like that. And it was one of those things where I thought, hey, you kind of trick yourself into thinking you're going to win. You're like, I could win and this might happen. So we sit down and we watch the first video. And it's this amazing teacher doing these amazing things. And before I could say anything, my wife turns to me. She goes, hey, I love you, but I don't think you're going to win. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen, right? And not because of the video, just there was amazing educators that were nominated. Yeah. And so, yeah, I didn't win, but it was cool. It was a cool night out. Me and my wife said it's a great date night, right? And so that's what it ended up being. But yeah, it was a funny story from the classroom. Just those kids.
I think Harry and I can both agree that you deserve the award, though. I think
we
both agree that you're
Look at you. More extra credit. More extra credit.
Hey, finals is coming up. I'm almost A minus.
You're right. Finals are coming up.
We got the last question. This one isn't really school related. It's kind of like a goofy question, you could say. But if you could go to any planet and you'd be like the king of this planet, and you could just survive, it was like perfect, just totally built for you, like in our solar system, which one would it be?
Man, that's a great question. Probably Mars, right? We have historical, like we got some knowledge. There's movies, right? Like if I'm gonna go there and survive, I kind of want to have some background. So maybe I watch a couple of Mars movies. And the other ones, is Pluto a planet?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's.
And then they took it away.
Yeah, it's like it was, then it wasn't, then it was again. And now I think it's back and wasn't. Like they just keep playing with the poor guy.
I think
I was gonna say Pluto, but then like I go and then it's not a planet, and then it's like, oh, that's messed up, right? So yeah, I would say Mars because Pluto doesn't know exactly what it is. So,
Mars is smart though.
Plus, I feel like that's like the white whale, right? Like everyone wants to go to Mars. So that's the one. I haven't heard anyone say, hey, you know what? Saturn, that's my spot.
Saturn.
Want to go to Mars, right? So I think that's why I do it, just for bragging rights.
So while Pluto's having an identity crisis, we'll choose Mars.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I feel bad for Pluto. I remember when I was a kid and we had to pick, like, I think we had a planet project and you got to pick, and everyone wanted to do Pluto. And now it's not even on the list for the poor kids anymore. Now it's not even a choice. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's like I remember the whole thing was because it wasn't like it wasn't big enough. But
or something like that, right?
You see it in sports every day. You got like what's his name, Isaiah Thompson. The guy's tiny and he's dunking on Shaq. It's like, size like doesn't matter however big Pluto is. If it wants to be a planet, it wants to be a planet, man.
Let it be, and say all these textbooks you got to change and stuff like that. Just let it be. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, as an older person, it scares me when they start changing stuff that you grow up with.
Yeah, like
Be terrified.
All right, but I think that's all the questions we got today. Thanks for coming on, and they're thoughtful answers. Thank you very much for that. It was a good conversation.
I appreciate it, guys. This was awesome. Thank you.
All right, Terriers, we got a special game for you, Guess the Vine. And today we have a special guest. Boy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Boy Harianja, and I'm a senior at RHS. Nice to meet everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thrilled to have you on. So for today's game, we're playing a Guess That Vine game. And just like the title says, we're guessing vines. And basically, Bianca and I are going to say a part of the vine. Our special guest has to guess the rest of the vine. And it should be fun. Hoping it turns out well. Then let's get into it. I'll start off with the first vine. This is one of my personal favorites. So it's a guy and he walks in and he goes, "Hi, welcome to blank."
Chipotle.
That's close. You got the first 3 letters right, but it's hi, welcome to Chili's.
Oh, dang.
I probably would have guessed Chipotle too. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, right. No, that was
Good.
close.
I have the next one. This is a classic. So there's this woman taking a video in front of a Del Taco sign, and she's like, "They have something new at Del Taco. It's called free."
Free Shavakadu.
Yeah.
Exactly. 1 for 2.
Free Shavakadu. Man, I remember when that they first made that one. Kids were saying that 24/7, man. You could not hear the end of it. That was, yeah, it ruined it a bit for me, but it's been a while. All right, my second one for you. This is one of my favorites. The guy, he scares. I think she's scaring her dad or something. But he goes, you almost made me drop my.
Croissant.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Getting at a good start. 2 for 3, man.
I know.
Okay, here's the next one. Road work ahead.
I sure hope it does.
Yup.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm getting these and I feel so good right now.
Dude, that was another one where, man, kids were saying that 24/7. They totally ruined it.
I don't know, I feel like the croissant one was said more.
Really? Because the road work ahead, I feel like I couldn't go a second without hearing someone say that one.
I've literally heard the croissant one on TikTok so many times. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. No, but the funny story about the road work ahead is I did not get it for the longest time. It's like, I know it's simple, but it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what does she mean road work ahead? Like, why would she want? Dude, it just did not click with me for the longest time.
Hey man, that's probably some other people too.
Yeah, right. Wasn't my best moment, but you know what? I get it now. All right. So my third one for you, it's with the Jenner Kardashian family, and they go, Kylie Jenner, can you please come down to the foray? And I think it's Kris Jenner, and she has a little pig in a blanket. And Kylie Jenner goes, "Aw, a blank."
I don't know, toes.
No. Then she goes, "Aw, a chicken." And it's just a little pig in a blanket.
Yeah, and it's like
Yo,
a black pig, and she goes, "Oh, is that a chicken?" Like, out of every animal that you could, no, that was just not it.
Yeah, she was completely. There wasn't even like a hint of being close. She was just as far off as you could be.
she actually said that. Like that's
Genuinely.
crazy.
She was being dead serious too.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm pretty
gosh,
sure it was
bro.
like broadcasted all over television because it was part of the Kardashian show. So,
Yeah, they weren't even ashamed of it. And it's like, I don't know if the worst part is that she said it in the first place or that they actually put it on national TV, man. It's like, I don't know about that one.
That's just tough both ways.
Okay, here's another classic. It's a kind of an old one, but we'll see if you can get it. So there's a girl in a car, and she says, "I'm in my mom's car, vroom vroom." But then what does the mom say back?
Oh no, okay. I've watched this. I swear I watched this, but I just can't. I just don't know what they're gonna say or what the mom's gonna say. Get out. I don't know.
You're
That's
super close.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, she says, "Get out me car."
Oh,
The daughter
close.
goes,
Oh man.
Man, that's a total English thing. It's just you could tell that mom had no chill. As soon as she saw her daughter in there, get out of here. What are you doing?
No, she was really nice about it.
She don't like her daughter at all.
Yeah, right. She was taking no jokes that day. All right. Well, my last one for you. This one's kind of wholesome. It's pretty cute. It's a little kid and he goes, "You know what? I may look like a burnt chicken nugget, but
A burnt chicken nugget. I don't know what you can do with a burnt chicken nugget. That's like I don't know. I can't finish that.
yeah, it's cute. It's a little kid. He goes, "You know, I look like a burnt chicken nugget, but I still love myself." Little positivity.
I need to start watching them again. Come on now.
Yeah,
Really
right.
bad.
All right, this is the last one, and it's another classic. So let's see if you can finish off strong. So it starts off with a boy in his pantry, and he tries to grab a bag of chips, but everything's falling. And he says, "Hurricane Katrina," more like hurricane.
Tortilla.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, I think we should give you half a point for the Enemy Mom's car one. So I think that was 4.5 out of 8.
That's
Got the
not good,
majority.
but it's still better than 0.
Yeah, man, exactly. That's 4.5 better. And it's a half better than 4.
That's a passing
Yes,
grade.
sir.
Got 55%.
No, that
Alright.
was fun today. And thank you very much for coming on. Hope you had a good time.
Oh, thank you guys. I had fun.
If you or your friends want to be on the podcast like Boy was to play a special game with us, make sure to nominate them on our Instagram page from December 13th to December 20th. Well, that was super fun.
Yeah.
I needed a laugh like that.
Yeah, exactly. Take a little before finals week, kind of decompress.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you guys for tuning into our 3rd podcast. Hope to see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, but we hope you all have a safe and amazing winter break. And that you
Yeah,
guys
take the time to relax, get away from the
Yeah.
screens a little bit. Go for a run, go for a jog, a walk, even.
Yeah,
Just
I might do
do
that.
something healthy.
Have an amazing break, guys.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.